This part of the world is amongst the most beautiful areas to live that there is. I'm incredibly proud of having been brought up in this area. G'day. I'm Roland Hearn, and this is a walk in the garden. Spectacular, isn't it? After last week's video in the beautiful Caboolture Arboretum, I decided that I should do more videos in the immediate surrounding areas so that the walk in the garden, it's not just a walk in my home garden, and of course I desire to try and do that when I travel, but I thought I can also do that in the area in which I live. This part of the world is amongst the most beautiful areas to live that there is. I'm incredibly proud of having been brought up in this area and have enjoyed all of these spaces. So today I decided to come to Bribie Island. Bribie Island is just a little over half an hour from where I live, and I have come through to the ocean side of Bribie Island. If you'll see over there, let's see if I can get it, make sure it's in there. That's Moreton Island, and Moreton Island and the two Stradbroke Islands form a natural sand barrier to Moreton Bay, which was created by the Brisbane River, on which Brisbane rests, and all of these islands together create this beautiful protected bay upon which Brisbane is built. But this area out here is obviously the Pacific Ocean, but it's also the bottom end of the Coral Sea. So 500-600 kilometres that way is Fiji, the Samoan Islands. Up this direction is Papua New Guinea. And this is the bottom end of the Coral Sea. This video today isn't intended to be very long at all. I have some special things coming up next week. My video next week should introduce a whole new element to the walk in the garden. I'm pretty excited about it. In a lead up to that, I thought, you know what, it would be really helpful for me just to lay the foundation once again. I was watching back through some old videos that I'd done, thinking about where we're at, and the thought came to me, it's really, really important to establish those foundational ideas over and over again, because those are the ideas that are going to turn what is simply a walk in beautiful spaces into a walk in the garden, back to the original garden. So one of the things that occurs to me very much as I spoke about the sense of pride that I have in growing up in a beautiful space like this. By the way, this Bribie Island beach, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people travel from all over the world every year to enjoy the beaches of Queensland. The beaches around the Brisbane area, the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast. And even though it's winter today, it's about 22 degrees out, And the number of people out on Bribie Island beach would tell you what a rare gem it is. It's absolutely beautiful. The surf is like a mill pond today. It's absolutely dead flat. I mean, this is pure beauty, and it's so close to home. Well, that issue of identity and this being part of something that makes me who I am, because I'm very proud of growing up in this part of the world, speaks to that bottom line issue that we've addressed before, and I want to reaffirm in this video. Our sense of identity is what feeds our sense of worth. Our sense of identity comes from that question with regards to the meaning of my life. Who am I? What am I doing? And the idea of a life with meaning flows out of the sense of who we are. The issue of worth, you'll remember that worth and love are two sides of the same coin. And so the idea that my life is valuable means that I am able to be loved. And that's how we process those things internally. So our search for meaning is constantly a search for worth, and therefore a search for love. But here's the connection that becomes so important for us to keep making. Whenever I'm struggling with worthlessness, a sense of inadequacy that overwhelms me, most life situations will cause us to feel inadequate. But when that sense of inadequacy causes us to feel like life is out of control and has no purpose or meaning, and that I'm worthless, we're dealing with a whole other issue in our lives. And it is that connection between worthlessness and shame. So whenever we're struggling in those areas, it is absolutely certain that we are not at that same time connecting our worth and the fact that we are loved. Well, I guess you could say the connection that we are making is that I have no love, I have no worth, and therefore I am not loved. And that's exactly the issue I want to address very briefly again today. Our journey through life only becomes one of hope and joy and fulfillment to the extent that we experience love and worth. And if we're feeling worthless, we're not experiencing love. And that's why it becomes so important to me to have an understanding of a God that is love, that is directly engaged with my life, that is telling me, regardless of what my circumstances tell me, that my life is both valuable and has meaning, and that I am loved in and of myself. And so last week when I spoke about that idea of recognizing that you have value and have worth and how important that is, for me, the only way that has been ultimately able to adequately reflect that is when I connect with my understanding of God as God of love, God of worth, and that He has very, very deliberately stepped into human history in order to communicate that worth to me, and that as I walk along this beach in this beautifully, incredibly beautiful surroundings, that I am equally walking in the presence of God that tells me He loves me and has given everything that God has in order that I might know that love. It's an incredibly warm, rich, wonderful feeling, and it makes this walk today and the walk in the garden extremely meaningful. So that's the point I wanted to make today. Keep connecting that idea of worth and love. And when you're struggling with worthlessness, when you're struggling with hopelessness, then you are struggling with the issue of how much you are loved and lovable. And to live with an open heart that embraces love at every point is the only adequate way for us to make this journey in the garden. So come back next week, join me, and unless something intervenes, I think that next week a walk in the garden is going to take on a whole new level of significance. So keep your eye and your ear out for that. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, because then that video will pop up when it's available. But I'm excited about it. So see you then. And until then, keep walking in the garden.